Okay, I think this is gonna be okay. We'll see. Hopefully, I'm not cut off in a weird way. I wanted to do a car chat. I decided not to talk while I was driving just because I know the noise, it's not great. Long story short, hey y'all, here's another car chat. I had to come all the way up to like a town an hour away from me for a driver's license appointment to change my name, and everything around me was like months and months and months out. This appointment that I scheduled was 2 months out. The other ones that were closer to me were like much longer out. So anyways, okay, posted on my Instagram stories what topics y'all would want to chat about. The one that I thought would be helpful to talk through is this one from Courtney, which is, can you show us how did you learn as a brand new staff accountant? And actually what I'm going to talk about has been helpful for me every time I start a new job, and especially since I started my new job recently. As you guys know, I was laid off last year from my dream job. Luckily, I already had been interviewing for the job that I have now, and I actually had a job offer whenever that happened. I kind of could foresee that stuff was going in that direction. Have been a newbie at this company, and so hopefully these tips will be helpful for you, whether you are just starting your career, your first corporate job, or maybe you are later in your career and you're just starting a new job, or hopefully this is helpful for all of y'all. So let's get into it. Some of this is likely redundant if you've been a longtime subby or part of the subby fam for a while, but I've been doing these types of videos for close to a decade, almost getting there. And even though I'm saying some of this similar things, hopefully by now you can see that the same principles apply. This year marks my 14th year in the accounting profession. All right, first tip I have for you guys is to take lots and lots of notes. Whenever you're sitting down with your direct supervisor or you're in meetings, like be sure to take notes. Nowadays, like there's all kinds of different technology that help with this. When I first started off in my career, I would take manual notes. I'd have notebooks upon notebooks and notepads of just written notes. Now I still take a lot of notes. I take them typically on my OneNote. That's where my preference is these days. I like having like an electronic notebook, and I organize it by, topic and things like that. So typically when I'm in a meeting, I'm jotting things down during it. In Teams, you are able to like transcribe meetings if people are okay with you like recording, and then you can kind of consolidate. I think that even there's an option to take meeting notes or meeting minutes. So there's all these different options nowadays. Even like if I was sitting down with my manager and she's telling me what to do for a certain task, like I'm constantly taking notes. So helpful for you to refer back to. And I feel like me now as a people manager and having direct reports, I very much appreciate when people refer back to them. And obviously if you have clarifying questions, that's totally fair, but if you completely do not even keep any track of tasks, what's being said, because there are times when you're in meetings and someone will say, hey, can you let us know what happened in this other discussion? And you can quickly refer to that, So anyways, take notes. Second tip that I have for you is to ask questions. So do not feel like there are any stupid questions. There's a kitty. Even if you're like a veteran at your company or at your job, never feel like you know everything. There's always room to grow, room to learn, questions that can be asked. Oh my gosh, kitty, get out of the road. Oh my gosh, stressing out with this kitty. And you're being given instructions and something just isn't clear to you, please feel free to ask questions. Obviously, sometimes we're not able to choose our direct supervisor. There are some people I've run across who get irritated by that, but those are the wrong people. Most people will actually enjoy and appreciate follow-up questions, clarifying questions. It shows that you're being attentive, that you care about details. So ask questions. However, if you want to take a moment and, maybe it's after a meeting and you are later on kind of regrouping and seeing what you need to do and it's still not clear, it's totally fair to have follow-up questions. You want to make a list of them and schedule time to go through them with a specific person. That's another great, efficient way to do it. I will say, if you are going to have follow-up questions, it would also be super helpful to do some research beforehand. So that kind of goes into my third tip, which is to be proactive about learning. Very helpful to be just a constant learner throughout your entire life. So like I said, if you do have follow-up questions, doing a little bit of research beforehand could also be helpful. So let's say, for example, you have a question about something related to accounting. You could look in accounting standards, you could look in auditing standards. If you're in public accounting, you can look, in your firm's methodology or their manual that tells you exactly how to perform certain audits. If you're part of a company, like if you're in the accounting department, you can look in policies and procedures, or if you guys are lucky, an accounting manual or something of that nature. But doing a little bit of research definitely helps and shows that you're being proactive. And if you have follow-up questions or you want to run by, your direct supervisor to see that your thinking is sound or brainstorm with them, you come at it in a much more prepared way and definitely shows you're leveling up. Other things you could do too, like reading, if you're in audit, you could read your clients' prior financial statements, financial reports. You could look at prior, audit reports that have been issued, financial statements of the company that you work for. So there's lots of opportunities and a lot of resources, even more so today than when I first started in my career. Fourth, I think, and the most important tip, it's super applicable to me today and even more so whenever I was first a staff and first starting out in my career, is just to give yourself time and give yourself the grace to know that you are going through a very big, transition in your life. You're learning about new things, especially coming out of college. You learn the theory of things, but it does take time and experience to really solidify all of those concepts that you were learning about in school. I'm just gonna continue because I gotta go, y'all. I remember when I was a staff, I would look at my senior and I would be like, I wish I was as confident as her, or I knew what I was talking about the way that she does, or knew the client as well as she does, how to audit, or had all these answers. I wanted to be in that position, and if I could go back, I would tell myself, it will come with time. And it'll come with experience. Above all, just know that everything takes time. And especially when you're going through a big transition, whether that's starting a new job, changing job, whatever the case may be, everything just takes time. I know that so much more now because, like I said, I've been in my career for 14 years and I've had a lot of experiences. I realized that my senior, she didn't have all the answers. She knew how to figure it out. And if she's not able to, she knew how to, reach out and ask for help. And that's something that I've learned now. And also, she knew all the things that she knew because it took time and experience working to be able to make an informed decision. And there are going to be times when you make a decision and you'll have to be courageous because you have to be firm about something. You might be right, you might be wrong. At the end of the day, it's all learning lessons. So whether you win or you lose, everything you're going through, you are just growing through what you go through. And it's all experiences that you are using to build your toolkit. All of the experiences are helping you learn intuition with your job because you're seeing all these different situations. No one has all the answers. The only way to get experience is to actually go out and do things and to be exposed to as much as you can. As a person who's new in the professional career, I would definitely recommend starting, let's say, at a public accounting firm. Really know what you want to do with your life or what part of accounting you want to specialize in. So just go into it with an open mind. Go into it thinking, hey, I'm gonna be exposed to so many different situations that will help me figure out, do I working on the substantive, calculation side of an audit, or do I like internal controls? Is that part interesting to me? Maybe you'll like tax related concepts, or maybe you'll see that you want to do consulting, but all of it is just an opportunity for you to see and experience a lot, and then eventually you can figure out where you want to go. My story, for example, I started an external audit, randomly got to work on internal controls for a long period of time, and that's where my passion came in. And it takes time to figure out exactly what it is that like excites you about your job. So just give it time. And also, if you don't find that, that's okay too. You know, it is totally okay to have a good, stable, consistent paycheck. There's nothing wrong with that either. So anyways, okay, I hope it was helpful, and I better get into the driver's license office now. So if it was helpful, you know what to do. Give it a like, please. Let me know what other content you want to see, and I'll see y'all again very soon.